Good morning, everyone, and welcome to week 3 of Flossmas. I am Deborah, and you are very welcome to my channel. Today is Sunday, December 15, 2024, and you'll notice that the sun is starting to stream in, so hopefully we won't wind up with too many rays at the end of this video. But on the other hand, it is very possible that we will wind up with a special guest star. Those of you who follow me on Instagram will already know that my cat Doc, who's been outside for quite some time, got back in the house as of last night. It took some fair amount of patience and a lot of coaxing, but I was able to get him in last night, and he has settled right back in. It is amazing how much he has settled in. I'll talk about that more a little bit at the end of the video, but I did want to just start the video off with that information. And both he and Wesley are sitting just right over here off camera, so it is possible that we may have a visitor. If not, they're with us certainly in their presence, if not physically something that you can see. So again, it is just another wonderful Sunday and a chance to be with you to chat stitchy things for another week. I've got a number of different things to show you. Obviously, we've got our weekly stitching that we've been working on, going through our couple of Advent calendars. We'll talk about Advent, the third week of Advent. We got a Wesley, you guys. I don't think he ever made an appearance last year. This is pretty great. This is Wesley. He hasn't been on in Flossmas in a while. Of course, he's looking at the candles. Oh my goodness, you guys. Hi, little man. You want to come over here? Hi. There you go. Hello, my love. Hi. You want to come sit with me? Yeah. He's done. He's done. That was not the guest star I actually thought might appear, but I was very happy to share that with you. So we've got Advent to talk about. I did a ton of fully finishing this last week. I fully finished 9 different things, which I am extremely proud of myself for. I will show you 3 of them later in this video, and then next week I will show you the other 6. 3 of them are kind of quite large. I'm going to have to actually film a different segment, which I'll insert wherever I can figure out how to insert that into this video. And then next week I have several small pieces, ornaments, and wall pieces, so I'll show you those in our final video. So a lot of different things to talk about this week. I do have my Christmas market mug with us today, and my very festive Def Leppard sweatshirt that seemed very Christmassy. It just seemed warm. That's what it was. All right, so what I will do is I will start with showing you my progress on stitching this last week. So I mentioned that I have been my goal was to get 4 different smalls done over the course of our Flossmas. I have now, I'm working on this one right here, which is Humbug by Hello from Liz Matthews, one that's been on my to-stitch list for quite some time. I really thought that I was going to get this fully finished for you guys, or finished for you guys to show this morning, but unexpectedly, there was the cat return yesterday, and that took precedent over everything. So I didn't quite get everything done. I also didn't get it ironed. But here is my progress so far. And this is all just using standard, the called for DMC. The lighting, because of the sun, is not quite fantastic this morning, but I think it's still giving you a really good view of it. And at this point, what I have to do is just finish the leaves on this side of the piece and do the back stitching, and then I will be finished. And this is a piece that I am planning to finish as an ornament, and so I do hope to get that both finished stitching and fully finished as an ornament, certainly before Christmas this year. I was realizing that my Christmas tree, I felt like, didn't have enough stitched pieces on it, so part of what I've been doing is adding to that stash. So that is my little small progress this week. I am moving my precarious pile of things around as always. So I had mentioned that I also am hoping to get this little French horn Mill Hill ornament done. I have not started it yet, but that's still on the to-do list. I'm thinking, kind of given my progress so far, I may only get 1 more piece done rather than 2, but even so, I will continue stitching through Christmas, even after the videos are done. So this is the 4th of the pieces that I had set aside to stitch this year. This is an older Bent Creek piece called Hark, and it's just got that alphabet, a couple of little angels, and then the word park there. So that is another piece that I am planning to get stitched, another very small piece, and just something that I am definitely hoping to get started on and potentially even finished by the time I'm with you next time. And I had been thinking in the back of my mind of when I was done with my Christmas stitching, time to kind of move on to winter stitching. I definitely have some kind of fill in that I want to do in terms of pieces and where they are displayed in the house. And I had decided that I was going to do I'm finally jumping in on the Tiny Town, and I'm going to start with Frosty Tiny Town. That will be one of my winter stitches this year, and kind of in a good timing thing. Redheaded Stitcher, who is on both Instagram and on YouTube, I will link her below, has decided to host a SAL related to the Tiny Town, Frosty Tiny Town. So if you are interested, you are welcome to join in starting on December 21st, the first day of winter this year, and you're welcome to stitch either the Frosty Frill, which is the little piece that goes with it, the full Tiny Town, or both. I am actually waiting on my Tiny Town to arrive in the mail. I had the frill, I didn't have the Tiny Town, and I ordered it, and unfortunately the shop sent me a second copy of the frill. So I am still waiting on that, but it should be arriving any day, definitely in time for me to get started by the 21st, which is next Saturday. But since I was planning to do this anyway, but perfect timing again, because I now have 2 copies of the frill, I would be happy to give away my second copy. This is what the shop and I decided is I will just pass the stash on this one. So unfortunately, I will not get it to you in time to start the SAL, but if it is something that you would like to have, you can always join in on the SAL just a little bit later. What we'll do is please just use the numeral 1 in your comment below, and I will pull a winner next video. So that's going to be on the 22nd, and then I will get it out in the mail as soon as I can after that. So hopefully at least kind of early in the new year, at least you will have a copy of this to stitch along with. This is eligible worldwide, so if you're interested, you do need to be 18 in order to give me your address. I use a Pen Pals form, which is linked below, so you need to leave your address with me in advance as part of entry. That way I've got it and we can just get things going right away. So please leave your address in the comment in the form below. Use the numeral 1, not the word 1, but the numeral 1 in your comment, and I will draw a winner for that when I film next Sunday, before I film next Sunday, the 22nd. So hopefully you will be interested in joining in on the SAL with us. I am excited to be working on my first Tiny Town finally, and so hopefully it'll be something that we can all enjoy. And then, oh, don't use giveaway, win, freebies, things like that in the comments, just to kind of keep the bots away. So, all right. And then I'm going to have to lean down for a second because I dropped something. There we go. Okay, so the next thing to talk about is showing you what I've received in my advent calendars over the past week since we were with each other last. And that is going to be the threads from Tom and Lily Creations, the Historical Sampler Company, and then my Lego gingerbread advent calendars. So I will start with Tom and Lily, in part because I have this in my hand. So one of the things that we received this past week was another metallic from Avera Soie, and this is kind of a shimmery kind of peach color, I would say. That's a unique color, and so I think that'll be a fantastic addition to my stash. And then in terms of the threads that we received from them this week, I have them very carefully separated out. So another beautiful selection of various different colors. We've got a pale blue, kind of a peachy brown, more of a turquoise blue, kind of a winter blue, brown, and then a neutral kind of white. And again, I really love these threads because there is obvious but subtle variegation, if that makes sense. You really can tell that the color is changing throughout your piece while not being really in your face about it. So I feel like those are just sort of the best kind of just basic variegated threads if you're just looking for a little bit of subtle change throughout your stitching. So those go beautifully with everything that we have received. so far from that advent calendar. And then I also have this is how I've been kind of keeping them all together. And then turning to the historical sampler company, one of the items that we received this week was this metallic DMC, and so a silver one to go along with the gold. So those are the threads that we've gotten from both of those advent calendars this week. In terms of other items received from Historical Sampler Company, we got 3 beautiful little kind of bag tags with little Christmas theme, winter and Christmas themes. So those will be fun. I had thought like I could turn them into floss drops, but I think the holes would probably distort the image just a little bit too much. But those could definitely be something you put on. I always put a little tag on my project bags so I know what's inside of them, for example, or just gift tags for somebody. So 3 really cute little tags there. Of course, I just dropped one immediately. We also received a Merchant and Mills needle threader, so it looks very much like this inside. Always helpful to have one of those in your collection. And then this one I've left in the bag just so I can keep them together. But we received a series of little, let's see here, little charms that you can, again, add to a finished piece, add to a bag for bling. So I got this cute little wreath. And I've been watching everybody else who's been receiving and opening up this one as well. And everybody got a slightly different version set of these. So I got an apple. That's a great year-round one. I think this one's my favorite. A little teeny tiny Christmas tree. Another little Christmas tree in Christmas colors. Although I feel like that's also Italian. Is that Italian, the flag? So that one was really cute. And then another more wintry one, just a tiny little snowman. So those are going to be definitely something that get added as bling to a piece or a project bag. And then we also received another chart. There are 6 charts in the calendar this year. And this is I think it's kind of a companion piece. Last year's calendar included a very cute reindeer in a snow globe, which I have stitched up. And that was one of the pieces I finally fully finished this past week. So I am planning to stitch this one probably also in the winter and get that fully finished so that I have the 2 of them together. And then as part of that, as part of the box, we received all of the floss. We got this beautiful green Ada that we can stitch it on. And then the finishing, we also received the canvas and an easel. And then I think, yeah, the tiny little bow that was in our finishing box as well. So that one is really cute. I'm definitely going to be stitching that one pretty soon. So I think that was everything we got from the Historical Sampler Company this last week. So at this point, I will show you the new ones for this week from both of those. We'll talk about our Lego Advent Calendar, and then we'll wrap up with some Advent conversation. So from Tom and Lily, we've got number 15, and I'm thinking it's maybe another spool in there too. I'm such a good detective, you know, it's like, it's lumpier than normal. My guess is it's a spool. You guys, I have to be surprised. You're going to be surprised. It's a spool. No, that is a kind of a dark turquoise, another Veriswa. So fantastic addition. Love that for Christmassy. And look at those 2 together. Those are great. And in terms of our floss, this is a very pale blue, kind of almost a purpley blue, it looks like. That one will be beautiful to stitch in. Sorry for the lighting on this one, but definitely a beautiful piece there. And from, make sure there's nothing else. That's it. And then from Historical Sampler Company, we've got a cute little snowman sticker. My guess is this is another pattern. Let's see. I think I'm right. I feel some Ada. Oh, this is cute. It's a reindeer biscornu. This may be the reason I finally stitched biscornu. I find them intimidating, but that is so cute. And this is very much like the reindeer that we stitched in our snow globe last year. So they're so good at this. And we've got a large piece of Ada to stitch it on. So always giving us some good stuff. All right, so those were our Stitchy Advent calendars. In terms of our Lego Advent calendar, can show you what I've received over the last week. Most of these were homages to older Lego sets that had been made in the past. So we received a tiny little house with a car and a stop sign. So if you're driving through your Lego town, got that one. We also have a tiny little Lego castle, which I thought that was cute, with all of the different turrets and arrow holes. This one is, of course, you know, the Lovin' My Trains, a tiny little train. I thought that one was so cute. We got a spaceship. Love that one. All of these have been previous Lego sets that they're kind of doing small homages to. So we've got our Lego spaceship. We got a little car. Yeah, I think this is a separate one. Yeah, there was a little race car. We got that one, so that's cute. And then the last one was actually two pieces. And we've got kind of a little soldier guy. And I will admit, I don't know what this is. Maybe like his music stand. I'm not 100% sure. And there was the photo reference didn't include whatever this was. So I don't know. But this is essentially the Lego soldiers that you see at Legoland, apparently. So I thought that one was cute. And then for today, as I said, I'm not going to put it together with you, but the one I will be doing myself is another little minifig, and it's a little artist. So that will be just a quick one to assemble later today. And so that is our Advent calendars for today. At this point, what I will do, or at some point in the video, I will either here or at the end, I will also insert kind of another video of the 3 big finishes that I did to show those with you. Two of them were Advent calendars that I have stitched, and then another one was a Satsuma Street piece. So I am super proud of all of them. So either here at the end of the video, we'll find out. And then the last thing for us to talk about is, of course, just talking about Advent itself. Today is the 3rd Sunday of Advent, and we are going through this little 'Tis the Season family activity book. And this is the week of joy. So it was very fitting that I was reading through this, and it was talking about kind of unexpected joys and how things go from seeming to be very bad to something very positive quickly, and kind of how we process that as people. And I had been talking with both my parents. I had dinner with them on Friday night, and then with the Connecticut Stitching Circle yesterday morning. You know, Doc is always a topic of conversation, and I had said to both of them, I said, I think I have to accept that I have an outdoor cat at this point. And that was really the mindset that I was having to accept. And I came home and things changed so quickly that he was able to come back in, and we were able to finally bring him back. So it was very much an illustration of going from that feeling of not being in a place of joy or happiness to very quickly it happening. And so I think it was the perfect example of and timing for an illustration of the kind of the idea of joy within the Advent season. And I've also been thinking a lot about, I suddenly understand the feelings and reactions of all 3 of the people in the story of the prodigal son. I understand the story of the father, the younger son, and the older faithful son. Doc, I have been amazed at how quickly Doc has settled right back in. It's like he was not gone. I also thought, just given his past history and how skittish he is, and how long it took him to want to come back inside, I thought for sure we were starting over. I thought I was starting with the cat that I got 4 years ago. And he has just settled right back in, snugly as probably even more snugly than ever. Obviously, I will want to take him to the vet, get him a full checkup, all of those things. He's definitely lost some weight, some things like that. So, but I'm understanding that joy of having him back. But I'm also watching Wesley, who's really kind of struggling a little bit with it. He had gotten used to being the only cat in the house. I know he's been lonely too. There have been those moments, but you can tell that he's kind of struggling with readjusting to everything. What Doc has always been much more overt and kind of um, very clear in asking for attention. Wesley has never been that way. He's always been much more kind of the quiet cat, and so just making sure that he knows that he is still loved and part of the family. And he's been the good older brother who stuck around, but he is still just as important as Doc. So definitely understanding that story a little bit better. So in terms of the book, as always, there are games and activities and readings that you can go through with a family or by yourself to think about the concept of joy. What I thought I would do is two things. One is very similar to last week. Last week we had some interesting and fun facts about the Nativity. This week we've got some fun facts about St. Nicholas that I will share with you. And then there's a recipe for candy cane scones, and I think that sounds delicious. I will share a copy of that on my Instagram, so if you're interested, you can take a look at that, but that seems like the perfect kind of thing to try for this season. So those are going to be my two activities in addition to my real life illustration about joy this week. So about St. Nicholas. Santa Claus is actually based on a real figure from the 3rd century known as St. Nicholas. Born in what is now modern-day Turkey, he spent much of his childhood giving gifts to the poor and performing other acts of charity, and he eventually became a bishop. So, I did not know that. Next fact. The Dutch name for St. Nicholas is Sinterklaas. Probably did not say that right, which is how we got the name Santa Claus. Next, the name Nicholas means the people's victory in Greek. And then our last fact. During the Middle Ages, a group of French nuns secretly delivered food and other gifts to the poor. They credited St. Nicholas as the giver, which led to the tradition of him being behind all anonymous gift giving at Christmas. I thought that was really interesting. I did not know any of those facts, so I thought that was just a fun way to think about the history and tradition of Santa Claus and St. Nicholas. So, as always, it was a pleasure to be with you. Don't forget, if you're interested, to leave your comment to enter into the giveaway. And I will look forward to being with you for one last video next week. So in the meantime, have a wonderful stitchy week, and I will see you all again soon. Bye. Hello everybody. So I am going to show you the 3 pieces that I fully finished this week that were too big for me to show in my video proper. But of course I did want to start with Wesley, who is around. Doc is around the corner too. So again, we may have a chance to see him in our video as well. So also just since we're here, quick look at my Christmas tree for this year with each of the pieces that I have been stitching and adding. So really welcome opportunity to have those. So as we turn around and head to the stairwell, this is the first of the pieces that I fully finished over the last week. And so this is just a little garland made up of these tiny knit stockings. This was something that I bought at Michael's last year. And then as you can see, there is a very tiny little stitched piece that I have added to each of the stockings. And this may be familiar with some of you. This is the piece that I stitched last year during Flossmas. I was stitching just one of these little stamps each day. And so at this point, I stitched them all in one piece of fabric. I sewed around them with just a very small zigzag stitch, and then I cut them apart using pinking shears. So over time, I am sure that these will fray just a little bit, which is perfectly fine. I think that that is really the look that I am going for. And then on the back, I also affixed them to a piece of white felt. Not sure this is going to zoom in. There we go. And then I also just affixed them using little zip Velcro dots. So if I want to, I can always rearrange the order that they are there, kind of, and go from there. So as you can see, there are in total 24 of those little pieces that have been added to my stockings. Obviously my banister is not actually quite large enough to display all of them really well, so probably next year I will find a different place to put them, but for now I thought that that was just a cute place in order to be able to see them. And then as we head around the corner, this is where we see a bookshelf, and this is where we also see the next piece that I fully finished. And so this was the Advent project that I was working on over the course of the past year, the Véronique Ongenger Advent calendar. And again, I used pre-made stockings and affixed the pieces to each of the individual stockings. And as you can see, I'm using this as where I put my Tom and Lily threads each day as we get toward that. So what I did for each of these is I had stitched them on perforated paper, which I chose to do in large part because I already had these stockings, which are fully finished, and so I knew that I was going to be working with something that was already double-sided, thinking about how I was going to affix those. My original plan was simply to do a couple of tacking stitches using a curved needle, but when I actually sat down to do it, I realized that the eye of my needle was much larger than the holes in the perforated paper. So in the end, I wound up gluing them on, and I affixed each of them to a piece of red felt in order to kind of seal the stitches up and then affix it on. So I think it works just as well. There is a little bit of kind of, they do look a little bit like they're just kind of plopped on top of the stockings, but I'm fine with that. So that is how I chose to do it. And then again, I found this kind of garland also at Michael's, and it's just these little pieces of fabric that are tied on. And so I was able to simply untie the fabric, put one of the stockings inside of it, and then retie it. And then I have two of these, which are there and being held up by a couple of kind of little stocking holders. You'll notice that the weight is a little heavy. So at the moment, they're being held up by some books and another couple pieces of things there. So let's see if we can move all the way back to give you the full view. There we go. So that is the full view of my Advent stocking calendar. And again, it's pretty big, so we'll see if this is and that actually you can see both of them there together. I think I enjoy seeing them. They may wind up going somewhere in the future, but we'll see. And then in a moment, I will show you the last of my pieces. Okay, and here is the third of the pieces that I fully finished. This is the blanket shelf that is up in my craft room where I have a wide variety of my seasonal pieces on display. This is what I see when I'm sitting and filming most of my regular FlossTube videos against the opposite wall. And the piece that I fully finished is this Satsuma Street called Peace on Earth. And this is a piece that I stitched. I finished it about a year ago. I wasn't sure I was going to fully finish it exactly as Jody had suggested. It's again another piece that's stitched on perforated paper, and the original finish uses this ribbon, and it calls for you to cut the perforated paper out in kind of little banner pieces themselves. What I wound up doing is I trimmed them down a little bit, and then I affixed them to these little wooden tags, and then I used some felt. Actually, I got this from the Jody's Jingle Ball class, which is the cameos. It came with this felt, which was perfect colors, and so I affixed the felt to the wooden tag, and then I put the cut the perforated paper piece out and added it there. So I thought it just gives it another beautiful pop of color. And as you can see on some of them, I just added a couple of buttons and embellishments for that. I have not ironed this ribbon. I probably should do that, but anyway. So in the end, we wind up with our full piece there, Peace on Earth. So those were the couple of pieces that I finished over this last week.